Well, Jade, King's Kelly. Can the Kate show that in his fiamble? Oh, style, can the Google light in this? My first morning walk for about 4 or 5 days, man. You're a hummer and I'm shit. You're a hummer and I'm shit. You're in Ariacht. You're in Ariacht. It wasn't suitable weather conditions. When you want to say, you know, that it wasn't suitable from a weather perspective, you say Niroshe in Ariacht. Ariacht. I for those CHT. That's how you spell it. So Ariacht, that's how you say it. That's how you say it. In Ariacht. Tasha an Ariacht, I know. But it is good weather today. That's a Mediv. That's a American tango of Lien. Mediv, it's, you know, it's mild. It's mild. There's a breezing bug. Oh yes, there's a southerly, light southerly breeze. That's a good bra. That's a good bra. It's lovely. Oh, say law is just style shaft and it's definitely the nicest day for about a week at least, I'd say. And alive, not Jim Mort. Today's Tuesday, yeah. But at the mass sauce the lesson. Very pleased with that. Because there's so long with your bunch time of us a pathway and with Chris, and I hope you're enjoying the podcast. My podcast with my wife. Because I need a job to fish and guide it. Because I need you imagine an alcohol of my just kind checkers tone yelling and I'm just not really doing any editing on this video. I'm just walking and talking, Marajara. Walking and talking. What's that just Martha, it's not the smile to cheer to my hoigan by my half lay. As the thoughts come into my head, I'll be discussing them. And it's well, it's yellow lawn, the whole night. The yellow lawn isn't the moon full tonight. I think it is beaver moon. But no, where my meek at the chin. It's called the beaver moon. Need some well physical guy kitchen in the Sam. Maybe there's an Irish for that in the Sam. I don't know, but yeah, Tachari far well that's a route to there's low tide, but there's a flux in the sea to start. My good yellow lawn. But stay again see with a lake no machine probably in about 3 hours or whenever. There's high tides, there should be big huge waves. Lundy Mora. Rauta is I suppose like a spring tide, tidal surge, spring tide I suppose. It's the closest translation. So they Rauta on this journey. They shot this journey. So I could do Rama Kali, so clocha. Clocha ta galore clochan chen. Galore clocha de Doorlin. Must the Kimage cloch ta chen Elenodi. Must Kimage cloch ta chen Heilingberg. Must the Kimage. They got a couple of million on it, eh? There's probably a few million anyway. Cloch I guess clocha. Must the Kimage Clyde fed your hoggers in the clocha and I wonder how many walls you could build. With all those stones. Doorlin. Athan Doorlin. So Doorlin is like rocky beach, I suppose is the closest translation. Doorlin, this is the Doorlin, Duirling, the Macappa. That's how you spell it. It's a natural barrier that protects the road. So it's nice na staire machi mór agus na Lundays na Maimony mór. Just the near coming from west and near from west. Custling Chambor, because it protects the road. So Nero Vinnick a Harling dragging the Bowler more at a more. It doesn't happen very often. You get the big boulders from the road. So Mark Carlin. If I could get a man break it, Chamel, to make up what you get on ball. Hi, Sunny. Oh, Sunny. We took only ball. Can't I need it Canada ball? Banner? This. Whoa! Wow, it's kind of mature. Whoa! Kitty Mara. Sha. So can you route as a Doorlin. As a Doorlin. Yeah. The sunny sauce is going to be muid a lugsasta má réigen rains ar siúla dean le leint as mar dús mar ball. You know, a handy word, our ball. So you can say our ball in the past tense and in the future tense, our ball. But vi ma kaitla didn't kinch in our ball. I was talking to someone there earlier. I was bay ma kaitla didn't kinch our ball, and I will be talking to someone later. Mar hopla. So you can use our ball in the past and in the future tense. That's very useful, I think. Our balls. Yeah, that's really so the slow tide. Slow tide. That's a bay route on this journey, but there will be a spring tide later. So I can't go away. Journey, I think so. Paul Trachach. This is Trachach. Trachach. The Tra for beach. Agus ach is horse, the old word for horse, ach. So tra unchach. That's why Trachach, but it's tra unchach. Trachach. When it's said quickly, Trachach. It sounds like Trachach. But people just say Trachach in this. But people will just say Trachach now. That's just how place names probably evolve or change over time. Trachach. The beach of the horse. Trachach. I said Craig. So that's a Craig. Craig is, I suppose, Craig, is it? A Merla. You might think it's there with Craig. That's in Nucraga. Nucraga is plural for Craigs. Nucraga, more Nucraga. You'll often hear people here on the islands. Oh, there's more Nucraga. Kyle Martin, oh, there's more Nucraga. He's out in the Craigs. Or is Martin? He's out in the Craigs. More Nucraga. Nucraga. Ja, not a lot again. I should tell him. Need a guy for extra sock medif. It's dry. That's a cherry. It's dry. That's a Neilcha guy for. It's not really windy. Breezing. He's from like it's breeze. I guess medif. That's a sock medif. Yeah, it's very mild for the time of year. The time of the year. Yeah. Doesn't have much, you know, I know on Dara Lawn and Seola in the sauna. You know, we're 3 days into November, so you know, for November, single ma. There's a single mag in the belly letach. That's good for the Nivega on the chest, who said, here's his man heater, right. There was no need to use the heaters yesterday, so that's good for the electricity bills. That's all the lesson. Some bunta stay in the living certain times is about mediv and Tom said like that's a good advantage or benefit, I should say, when you get kind of mildish weather. No real need to use the if you are in the dryer or such carcolor, then the hazy from we had to use the dryer alright because my lime shit Cake rush out racing to Mediv, even though it was actually fairly mild the last day or two. We bought the trauma in a kind of Google like that. But on year was on the head, you had a line. We weren't able to really dry the clothes out in the line because of the rain. You're rack, you know, wash the rack. You're rack. You know, wash the rack. John Rack, RIC, you know, interfering or disrupting, I suppose. That's probably the English translation, John Rack. In America, John Rack in Iraq. The Americans were causing mayhem in Iraq. John Rack in Iraq. Anyway. So kind of more couple of minutes, I'll go off another minute maybe and so I go by my kind of listeners stop us my toe by my kind keep on alarm if we shouldn't keep on alarm if we shoot. You know, what often happens is when I'm talking and walking I forget certain things to talk about when I press stop. Oh, kif anach in why didn't I think of that? Oh yeah, I could have talked about that for a couple of minutes. Oh, blah, blah, blah. A certain word or that I could have talked about, or a saying or a word I could have talked about. No, my brand with a telly lejournus, something I've been watching on the telly recently. Anyway, to my keep go walk with it to my chance an áte chun carcaráte chun I'm here not carcaráte chun. So from home, Kylie Bug agus sunny agus mehain slán go fóg.